Hello and welcome to an Affinity Revolution tutorial. My name is Ezra Anderson, and today we're going to take New York City and turn it into its own tiny planet. If you'd like to follow along with the same image that I'll be using, I've included a download link in the video description. For our tiny planet tutorial, we're going to use this panorama picture of New York City. If you want to take your own picture to make a tiny planet, just make sure your photo has 3 distinct regions. The top part of your picture will become the outer space of your tiny planet, while the bottom part of the picture will become the inside of the actual planet. The middle part of your photo will be whatever you want to be sticking out of your planet. You also need to make sure that your photo has a level horizon. If you need to rotate your photo, you can press C for the crop tool and then rotate the picture by hovering outside one of the corners. But because this photo already had a level horizon, I'm going to cancel this crop. Once you have a good picture to make a tiny planet with, the next thing we need to do is make it so the photo has the exact same width and height. To do this, we need to unlock the background layer over in the Layers panel, and then press V for our Move tool. Then we can change the width and height down here in the Transform panel. To make them exactly the same, I'm going to change my width so it's 1920, which is exactly the same as my height. Then I'm going to press C for the Crop tool and change my mode from Unconstrained to Absolute Dimensions. Then I'll just crop my picture to 1920 by 1920. I'll press Enter to confirm my crop. Obviously, our picture is a little distorted right now, but that's okay because the entire point of a tiny planet effect is to distort your picture. The next thing we're going to do is duplicate our image by pressing Command or Control J. Then we're going to flip the duplicate layer. To do this, press V for the Move tool, and then right-click anywhere on the picture and go to Transform, Flip Horizontal. Right now, our top layer is completely covering the bottom layer. What we want, though, is for the top and bottom layer to blend together over here on the edge. To do this, I'm going to apply a mask to the top layer by pressing on the mask icon, and then apply a gradient to the mask. To do this, I'll press G for my Fill tool, and then click and drag over here on the right side of the picture. Bring out your gradient about this far, and then change this color stop to black. What we've now done is made it so the white part of our gradient is completely revealing the top layer, but by the time it gets to black, then it's completely hiding the top layer to reveal the bottom layer. The reason we did this is so that the top and bottom layer will blend together over here on the edge. If we didn't do this, then when we finished our tiny planet effect, we would have a distinct line running through it because we didn't blend these two edges together. Now that we've blended the two layers though, we won't have this harsh line. Instead of having these two separate layers though, we want to have just one merged layer. To do this, right-click on any of the layers and then select Merge Visible. Then with our merged layer, we no longer need the original two layers, so I'm going to select the first layer and delete it, and then delete the duplicate layer that we made earlier in this video. Now all that we have is the one layer that we merged together with the blended edge. We're now going to flip this layer so it's upside down. To do this, press V for the Move tool, and then right-click on the picture and go to Transform, Flip Vertical. The reason we did this is so that the buildings will be pointing out of the planet instead of going into it. If we didn't flip the layer, then our tiny planet would look something like this. But of course, this isn't necessarily a bad thing, so if this is the look you're going for, then you don't need to flip your layer. Now that we have our picture set up and ready to go, it's time to apply a rectangular to polar distortion. To do this, we'll come up to the top to Filters, Distort, Rectangular to Polar. As you can see, we've now made a beautiful tiny planet with our buildings facing on the outside of the planet and without the harsh edge. If you want to get rid of all this extra lines that are going around the planet, you have two options. One, you can press C for the crop tool and then just bring in your picture so they're no longer showing. Or if you don't want to do that, then we can apply a mask so only this part of the picture is being shown. To do this, we'll use the elliptical marquee tool to make a selection and then apply a mask. So click and hold on the rectangular marquee tool and then select the elliptical marquee tool. Then while holding down Shift, you can click and drag to make a perfect circle selection. If you want to move your selection around, press Q to go into quick mask mode, and then press V for the move tool. Then you can easily move your selection. When you're done placing your selection, press Q to exit quick mask mode, and then we can apply a mask to our picture by pressing on the mask icon. Then press Command or Control D to deselect. After applying our mask, we are now done making our tiny planet effect.